a very sentimental person.
This has been a real deep podcast.
I didn't mean it to be so. The deaf is stolen.
That was not funny.
Oh!
It's the traditional hero arc. You want to see them struggle.
There's no heroes here. Come on.
No.
And I still think to this day that they probably are still, thrusting around in the dark, so to speak.
I think, no, don't.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Paul speaking, and with me tonight, looking at me in a kind of befuddled look, is...
We talked about this.
Is your mic up?
I'm talking.
That's better.
Okay. We've talked about this.
Yes, I know.
The Paul speaking.
Yes.
Okay.
You saying the words that are coming out of your mind, out of your mouth, does not actually change my behaviour. You know that, don't you?
I kind of thought it would.
Yeah, no.
Hi, Paul.
How are you, Pip?
I'm awesome.
That's excellent. And I'm fine.
Go team.
Okay, now, one of us has an apology.
I, Pip, am very sorry that I wasn't here last weekend to record. Everyone out there in podcast world, I'm very, very, very sorry.
Couldn't even come over on Sunday.
The whole weekend just didn't leave
How do
the
you feel now? Do you feel bad?
Well, I felt good that I've apologised.
Well, guys, that's as good as it's going to get, I'm afraid.
I mean it.
I know you mean that last comment, yes. Yeah. Okay, so, right.
Did you miss me, Paul?
Sorry?
Did you miss me?
Very much. I was sitting there and I had no one to talk to.
Or make fun of. Or laugh at.
Quite literally. No, actually, me and Tom had a great time last weekend. It was good. So
You could have faked it a little bit.
No.
It was so awful that you weren't here. I had such withdrawals. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, no, we adapted. We overcame.
Awesome.
Now, Pip.
I'm from the other side of the world.
I'll cut that. You know I won't. Okay, so now we'll get straight into it. We'll do...
I've got Doctor Zhivago written first.
Oh, you're doing Doctor Zhivago. Okay, all right. Well, you are in charge, so...
Am I? Awesome.
Sure, why not?
We watched Doctor Zhivago.
We did.
I'm looking for someone. Comrade Doctor, I need a medical officer.
Are you a nurse?
Yes.
Then help me.
You know, you often look at me as though you knew me.
I have seen you.
Yuri is an extraordinary girl.
I know, I'm dancing with her.
What happens to a girl like that when a man like you has finished with her? I give it to you.
If only there was someone to look after you. Of course, if there were, I'd be destroyed by jealousy.
Don't. We've not done anything you'll have to lie about. Goodbye, Živago. This is an awful time to be alive.
No.
What are we going to do?
I don't know.
Wouldn't it have been lovely if we'd met before?
I think we may go mad if we think about all that.
I shall always think about it.
Doctor Zhivago.
Do you feel that trailer told people what the film was about?
That's a new trailer. Did you notice that it actually was quite a bit better than the normal ones that we for these old
it
films?
wasn't a deep voice that tells you about this,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah.
No, that was a 90s trailer.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, the 90s trailers are always that
It's
same
not the
guy.
1960s trailer.
No, well, the 1960s trailer was like 4.5 minutes.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, and this one was about 1.5 minutes.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you feel it told people what the film was about?
Now, I sat and I watched that film, and when I started, like 2 weeks ago, when the last time we did it and we sat down, that next Sunday, that evening, I sat down and I started Doctor Zhivago, and tonight was, I'd literally just got off before you turned up after watching it. I'd been watching it for about 2 weeks.
That's probably a good thing I didn't come last week, really.
No, but I did watch it twice.
Well, there you go.
I watched it twice, and you know what? The first time through, I have to say I wasn't really enraptured with it. And the second time I watched it, and then I went off and I read about all of the failings of Dr. Zhivago, I was much more enamoured with it, I have to say. It's an extraordinarily long film. It
3
really
hours
is.
and 20 minutes.
Yes. And I knew as soon as I put it on, and it up came, and I saw, and I knew it was a David Lean's movie because it came up with the overture.
Yes.
You know
no,
what I mean?
saw
You
that.
saw that and you go, oh, buckle up, here we go.
Well, I knew it was a David Lean film, and we just watched Lawrence of Arabia, and I went,
Which is a
oh, gosh, no!
which is a 10.
No,
I gave
no,
it a 10.
You gave it a 10. It does not make it a 10.
I think everybody needs to see that film.
Anyway, talking about Doctor Zhivago, it is longer than Lawrence of Arabia.
It's longer than everything.
Is it the longest? I
Oh,
don't know.
it's got to be close. I'm sure
Peter
there's...
Jackson's been working really
Look,
hard.
there's a thing about which you may not be aware of. Bollywood movies can go up to 4, 5, 6 hours.
I've never watched
because
one that
they're
long.
like the whole when they make them, like they make them with the intention of an entire village coming down to an evening, and it's like the whole evening they just kick back. You know, the plot's not necessarily that important, sort of thing, and
So you
everybody.
can go in, watch
Yep.
something, have
Yep.
something to eat, come back.
That's right. Yeah. So you know, and so for
Not missing.
distance of a length of film, I think it'll probably be one of the big Bollywood epics that would go for that long time.
Paul, I think Doctor Zhivago is better than Lawrence of Arabia.
Now, that is a strong statement coming from you because you're not a person who would bravely go forward and put their stamp on a statement like that. I, on the other hand, however, would. But I would like to hear the reasons.
I could see you looking at me like this going, oh my gosh, it's David Lean. Oh my gosh, it's longer than Lawrence of Arabia. Pip's going to hate it.
I just realised I got my thumbs ready to twiddle.
No, I know, I can see them.
Go for it. Tell me why it is better.
I think the storyline worked better. I think the main characters were more engaging. You didn't watch someone and go, oh gosh. The only person that I felt was a weak character was Victor. Like I didn't understand why he came in the
Rod
second time.
Steiger's character.
Why I didn't understand why he came in the second time. I knew it helped the storyline, but I didn't understand why his character was driven to do it. But other than that, I actually found all the characters made sense.
Okay, now, this was adapted from a book.
I'm aware.
Okay, so if the author of the book decided to
A
put it in...
1957 book, gosh, yeah.
Yes. Now the Soviet Union was still up and running at full steam at that stage of the
Hence,
game.
the book was banned and the film was banned.
In fact, Stalin was in command at that stage. I think he died in 1959, didn't he?
You'd have to tell me, Paul.
I think he did. So if the Soviet Union... And they banned the book. And so...
And the film.
And the film, consequently. And that's why the film wasn't done in the Soviet Union. It was, in fact, done, for the most part, in Spain.
Yes, I've got that written
Oh, have
in the
you?
book.
Okay. And a lot of the outdoors sections are in Spain. And I have to say they did a very good job because a lot of
nice.
it... Yes, a lot of it looks very Russian.
I've never been to Spain, so I don't
Okay.
know. Have you ever been to Spain?
No.
My mum has, but I haven't.
We have a our oldest and longest, not oldest, but our most revered listener lives in Spain, so they can...
Hola.
Hola. Yes, who's been listening from week one?
Yay.
Poor bastard. They're probably dribbling out of the corner of their mouth
beautiful. Spain must be an awesome place.
It does. Look, it is a beautiful movie, and
It's shot really nicely, and all the characters make sense. And Omar Sharif did a great job.
Okay, I'm going to pull you up there.
What?
Because you have problems with Victor.
Yes.
Okay, so why does he make sense then?
The first part of him makes sense.
When
Victor.
he's a sexual predator.
Yeah.
Yep.
The second time, I understood that he was like he's come back into their lives.
Yeah.
And he says, I'm going to help you get across the border because I can get across the border or whatever. I'm thinking, why has he come back? Why is he saying to Živago, come with me?
Have you ever heard the expression of a person who is a bit of an... No, this isn't part of the expression, but it's usually attributed to people who are a bit of an arsehole. And it's often said that they loved a woman as much as they was capable of loving anybody.
Oh, no, I thought maybe that might be the case, but he was actually willing to take Živago and not her. Not take...
well, he was there
Lara.
at the time, and he wanted to... He loved her as much as he was able to, and he wanted her to think well of him because he realised he had lost. Do you see what... Love sometimes is more than just...
Some of the dialogue was saying, I don't care if Lara goes, Živago, you should come.
Say that again.
He asked her to come, but if she didn't come, it didn't worry him. He seemed to be very fixated on Živago. And I didn't know whether that was because she wouldn't leave without Živago, but for me, it wasn't... I would have liked something more in that section. That's the weak section.
It was
for me.
really obvious, Pip.
Well, I'm just saying, for me, I would have liked something a bit more solid.
She was scared. She knew she had to get out of the Soviet Union.
No, she was willing to stay there.
Because she loved Živago.
Yeah,
but she wanted to get out. And he promised that he would meet them there. He gave her the way for her to live with herself. For leaving him. Does that make sense?
That's not the section what I'm talking about.
No, because like a lot of stuff, there's a lot of unsaid stuff going on there. And it tends to go...
The part when he first came to where she was living.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the later section.
When he turned up drunk at the doorstep. Okay, sorry, now. Yes.
Not the part where he actually picks her up.
Yes.
That part makes perfect sense.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, that's what I thought you were talking about. And
sorry.
Okay. My apologies, Pip.
When he first showed up the second time.
I have underplayed your hand. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, well, I thought, no, it's fine. I thought you'd misunderstood that section. But so the first part...
I made Živago made sense. It's
right.
Victor, when he first shows up and has the conversation with Lara and Živago to join him.
Like all Russian literature, and this definitely comes under Russian literature, it's really fun to pull apart, isn't it? The Russians...
Hence why it's a really long, epic film.
If nothing else, the Russians know how to tell a story. And this is a very good example of that. Okay, yes, it's long, and yes, they could probably cut off bits and pieces. But your finger is raised.
No, I was just kind of agreeing with you in the fact that we saw that tank T-40...
Yes, it's a terrific story, well told.
And I know this isn't a Russian film. It's a British-Italian film.
Yes.
But because it's based on a Russian novel, on the Russian, which war was it? There was some pre-World War One, after World War One.
Okay, you're talking about Živago here?
I'm specifically talking about the story, but what I'm saying is both stories were actually written really well.
Okay, what was happening here, war-wise, and thank you. Are
you happy?
I am. The story starts off in the Second World War, or no, leading up to the the First World War. Sorry, I don't know. My brain just had a camp.
I feel really good now.
Yeah, I've only woken up not long ago. I had a long sleep. So yes, it started off like mid First World War, and